And we are right back at it. The last lobby match here today. And I'm excited, Monster, especially when you can just see these last minute surprises. I really do think that Tayson and Yamzo, it's not a surprise that they find a victory royale just because of the caliber of potential that that duo entails just in name power alone. But it's more so just the fact that they played that quiet game, that slow and steady aspect, and it just paid off so heavily for them. Almost have to wonder if more teams are going to kind of take note of the fact that challenging from secondary height to the high ground, it's just so difficult because of the crash pads.
I think it's more so the game format. It's an act of desperation. Everyone knows that all the teams want to win. What's the best way to win? Well, the clearest way is maintain height. So why go for it early? It is just essentially an elimination sentence, if you will. You will be sent back to the lobby if you go up too early because everyone's going to be doing it. But first, you have to survive the drop, and finally Edgy and Death somehow managed to best Mongrel and what looks to be Mr. Savager on the drop at least, and Mongrel actually backs off. So Mongrel has just been on top of his drop all day, but this is one of the few times he is going to have to back off here. Now again, they have enough points to make it to tomorrow's setting no matter what, so it's not over. If they can continue to play consistent this weekend, they'll be in grands. However, this game right now is looking like they might have to sit it out here.
Yeah, but this is everything for Edgy and Dead. Unlike Mr. Savage and Mongrel, who have been able to play out 4 lobbies so far today, they've got nothing to work with. Handful of points off of eliminations alone, and that's it. So not only would they prefer to get this secondary elimination onto Mongrel, which is a big part of the reason why we see Edgy so adamant on pursuing him, making sure that they chase him the whole way through. He really wants to get this elimination, but it's just so important because they've got to get some momentum built now if they expect to translate this to a late game performance.
Ooh, look at that. This is how they end it. Yeah, finding them right through the build there. And you know what? I think it was a mistake to actually chase Mongrel. If they wanted to, really punish him, they could have just sat on the card. But neither here nor there. I think Mongrel will be able to get Mr. Savage's reboot card there and continue to just be the GOAT of the weekend here for Mr. Savage and Mongrel. I can't believe Mongrel really is having, we are in real time watching the comeback arc, it's incredible. Incredible time to be a Fortnite fan.
Yeah, I mean, in just today alone, Mongrel, he's got 10 eliminations, matching Mr. Savage's current 9. But what's also interesting is that these two have been relatively on par with each other. I mean, when you consider that Mongrel's got about 2,300 damage dealt in comparison to Savage's 2,000, it's evident that they are definitely playing very side by side of each other and just very locked in with each other's decision making.
Yeah, and Mongrel was seemingly eliminated. You saw there in the feed for a second ago. So with that, we'll just have to see them tomorrow for the last couple of games. And again, cross the fingers that we'll see them in grand finals because it's going to come down to consistency. Anyone that gets eliminated now doesn't have a chance to obviously win the game, which means if you do not have enough points, if you're not inside the top 25, your run is basically coming to an end. I don't know, at this point, you need a win, all right? Don't do anything reckless, just get the win.
Pretty much. I mean, even if it's not a win, I think especially when you look at a team like Death and Edgy, for example, that was sitting on only 8 points, if they don't find a victory royale in this final lobby, then they still need to drop a good amount of eliminations and have a top 3, top 5 placement if they expect to try and
I don't even know if that's enough, right?
Top 3, I think.
I guess, yeah,
you
would need literally top 3 and 14, 12 or 14 elims if you're that low. Not impossible.
I'm not going to say it's impossible just yet. It's unlikely. That's a fair statement, but
this is a first from Vino and Clicks, by the way. Just sitting behind the rock in the open, trying to see if anyone takes the flame hoop. On the other side, Source here. A little bit of high ground right now with the forecast. Love the fact, by the way, that we've gotten, I feel like a nice variety of perspectives from the player cameras as well, which is super fun to see. The communication, the how animated some players get when we're in the heat of the moment.
Look at those builds popping up though from Reckless Railways. Source knows that's going to be Ritual and Reed, but Ritual Reed, they've actually, excuse me, I have to remember they're no longer in it, so that's why there's so many other teams here at Reckless Railways. It's just lots taking place here today, MDF. Almost forget for a moment that when teams qual in from that Victor Royale, new teams move into those old positions, and a lot of action now at the Railways. Several different teams kind of trying to see if they can come up with a handful of eliminations here. Blake and Macwood, I believe they've actually pushed off from Grand Glacier to try and attack these duos situated at the Reckless Railways right now.
Lots to pick from. What is happening over here? This is about as in the moment we've seen Kanata and Cooper in the early game. They don't typically fight a box-to-box like this, but look at what they're fighting for.
Hard not to take note of the forecast tower. Everybody wants the advantage of knowing all future zones from that point on. And, well, Kanata and Cooper, they are going to have to deal with Baka and Pars first. I think this is actually one of the first times that we're even seeing Cooper and Kanata directly challenge Baka and Pars for a forecast tower. Considering that's the last lobby of the day, this does seem like a massive effort now from Kanata and Cooper. They must feel really confident in that if they can secure this forecast, then that might be the difference maker in netting them their Victor Royale here.
Let's talk about what led up to his decision, though. If you're Kanata and Cooper and you're coming into this Game 5 right now with 136 points, you know, hey, we're in the top 25. Why not risk it all? And that's exactly what they're doing. And there's for good reason Baka and Pars have been able to more or less secure this area. They are a very, very good team. You don't just want to contest them for no reason.
Problem, though, is that Kanata and Cooper, sure, Cooper's been eliminated, but now Empen and Pump, they've got their opening. They know Baka, Pars, they've been fighting, so let's just continue to dogpile onto these teams that were already stuck in their own separate engagements. And Pump, Empen, they see Medallion sitting off in the distance from the Nitrodrome. And Pump, Empen, a lot more fixated though on just dealing with the duo that's still intact. Not sure if they're even aware of where Kanata is even situated, but if I'm Kanata, I'm not trying to make much noise. I'm trying to just kind of wiggle away from this one.
Yeah, get the card and probably get out at this point. However, for Pump and Empen, this is a much riskier decision. They need points. They are not safe for day 3, and Baka just tries to dash in and actually doesn't quite get in there, but he does a lot of damage. He almost gets the 2v1 there for a second, and now forced to go ahead and back off for a moment here to save his teammate. But you know Kanata, seeing the knock, right? He's downloading all of this. He is definitely very much aware that he has a chance right now to do something big if he wants to. However, he is still lurking nearby, so I think if he sees another name go down, he's going to jump right into it. Baka putting up an excellent fight. He does get dropped here. And now Pump and Empen trying to pick up the pieces. Will Kanata let them is the question here. Some of these builds might still be his. And another team shells up. Worthy and Alex actually to probably come in and snipe the forecast tower. Yes, they are. They saw the NPCs. Oh my gosh.
They're going to get away with it too, because Pump and Empen, they've still got to spend more time healing. It was a relatively quick box fight, but that time to elimination, that pause was all it takes to provide that slight opportunity now for Worthy and Alex, and Kanata still stuck, lurking nearby. Have to imagine that he managed to secure Cooper's reboot card, but at the same time, he's just trying not to make any noise. And it almost seems as though Empen and Pump are fully aware of the fact that, yeah, there might still be another player, because we didn't see enough teams leave. We never saw a solo depart from these builds, so They're kind of just clearing out wall by wall, head on a swivel type beat where they don't want to get caught off guard.
I was gonna say, they're gonna realize soon there's another layer above them, because that's what they were doing. They were just like working their way up. But look at this. Why in the world is Clix and Vino fighting this fight right now? This is also very questionable, unless, again, the only thing I can imagine is if you are fighting for the tower and then from there just trying to like get a little bit of a surge lead so you can play for the win. Otherwise, this is just craziness unfolding right now, and we haven't really seen them fight like south of the zone either, right? They've played on the outskirts, but then they've gone north.
Maybe they caught wind of some struggles for Compalomp and Veno and Clix, considering that they have one elimination. Likely Alex, the other half of Compalomp's duo that they were successfully able to take out. They might have even gotten DMR shots from afar, and if they got that knock, could be a good reason for them to actually opt to try and chase that one out. But kind of also recognizing the fact that, hey, if we stick around for too long, we're only going to end up compromising ourselves. And with the way that Cold and Acorn are just sitting pretty inside of this bush right now, it's very clear that they have full intention. And also, because of that mythic combat, you have to expect that they have the Nitro Medallion on as well, so their position might just be marked on the map as well, which is also a big part of the reason why we see Clix and Veno being willing to kind of just forfeit securing that second elimination onto Compalomp.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense here, given the situation that's unfolding. Cold and Acorn halfway through their heals or HP now, moving right into Kanata, by the way, has got that high ground. He's still in that old vacant base, probably waiting for the zone to pull far. They're going to be so far below the surge. Meanwhile, Miro finally picked up here. Pink with a quick save. A team seeing this happen and moving swiftly down through the western area, hard south into Pink and Miro here. They're going to be in for quite a time, potentially.
Shots any minute, or any second, I should say. And yeah, Olaf, Larkos, they want to keep chasing out Pink and Miro. They know that that's a duo that's definitely in a relatively tough spot loot-wise. And that's probably their best opportunity to try and take out such a powerhouse team too, because not very often you're going to have that chance for a weakened Miro who's just been rebooted.
I just can't believe how good the last 5 games have been. These games have been incredible, and this is just the semi-final stage, so finals is gonna be wild.
I think we've definitely got a good taste of foreshadowing too for what's to come inside of the grand finals lobbies, because every single one of these teams just about, it really does feel like the level of gameplay that's kind of forced to come out at this stage, a direct result of just the fact that we have so many commendable teams in the mix right now, trying to even fight for their position in Grands.
Yeah, it just doesn't get any better than this. Look at this big rotate right here from Endpen and Pump, going way around the sides here. Flame hoop to flame hoop. To try to get to the dead side of the map right now. I definitely like this. They're moving very likely into, okay, so you have Jack and Cease here, and then not too far off Pink, and of course Miro, who we saw fighting Olaf.
And the other thing too, as far as Endpen and Pump are concerned, I mean, it's really impressive, I think. I know that Endpen and Pump haven't necessarily had the, standout performance that they would have hoped for, but they took a really big risk early on in this game, challenging Baka and Pars, at least getting those 2 eliminations early. It's a big part of the reason why they can opt for a more dead side rotation at this point, because they already have enough surge damage established to feel confident in that choice. But also just the fact that Endpen, you got to remember, he's coming off of I believe a 22-day straight subathon. That man was playing while everybody else was kind of getting that moment to kind of just pause, relax,
not 22
refresh.
Days, 200 in 2 days, by the way. He was
Pretty
live.
big difference.
Shout out to his community. I think he walked out of there like 20K subs. Just incredible work. Do your thing, son. We love it.
But it's a lot.
I wanted to say, we actually haven't even touched on this, but Muzz and Epic Whale might not be making it to Grand Finals. They only have 26 points. They need a monstrous game right now.
Yeah, I mean, we just haven't really seen them in the kind of late game circumstances that you would want. It's always tatters, it feels like, whenever we tap in to what's happening with Muzz and Epic Whale. And that is part of the risk, I guess, that can be involved sometimes, you know, when you go for these last-minute switch-ups of duo situations. Granted, the circumstances surrounding things for Muzz may be a little bit different than some of the other teams, but at the same time, they're two standout individuals in name power, right? So you wouldn't necessarily expect them to have the struggles that they have been, but also have to call the fact that when you're landing at Lavish Lair, relatively northern position, you're dealing with a decent amount of teams building Surge from the southern side and those Slurp Cacti. It is a bit of an uphill battle, I think, for Muzz and Epic Whale in general. And so the struggle is kind of unexpected, but at the same time, I think that there's enough factors working against them that it can kind of make sense too.
This is kind of wild. So Pink saves Miro. Miro clutches the fight. Now Miro saves Pink. And they're rotating right into another duo here with very low surge damage, so kind of forced into the spot here. No mats. They're going to be looking to close the distance here shortly and quite literally throw themselves into the gauntlet here for a second. Oh, the fight's breaking out. No better time to do it than now. Miro takes the high ground, working his way through the top. Pink working his way through the bottom shots. Not even shots, it's actually a Storm Surge that did a little bit of damage there. Great tag there. Can he get one more? Oh.
Miro's still going, but for how much longer?
They did it. I mean, Miro.
It shuts off, but that's more so. It's just thanks to the lobby thinning out in the nick of time, really. And Miro, I don't know if he's got a third reboot left.
I was gonna say, I think you just pick it up and go back. Just go back.
3 reboots though would be absurd. At the same time though, this is a duo that is, you know, 170 points. I think that they are confident in the sense that, you know.
Okay, wait. Is he going to Underworld or not right now? Yes, right.
He kind of has to. But he could also just choose to play as a solo because, again, they have enough points that they know that they're locked in for upper bracket day 3.
Yeah, so you want to win. You go back. Look at this play from Tyler, though. Oh, my gosh. Through the rift. The B-hop into the sidewall that was just open. Got to close your base, boys. That is 101 right there. Well, here goes the moving zone. 40 below, Tyler and Curve. Watching players on the rotate here. Very important that they land these tags. Ooh, got Blake behind the wall.
Oh man, Blake is zigging, he's zagging. He's forced to put up a metal box. Cold Acorn, this is a familiar sight. Cold locking in now to Isho on the top of this hill, and nice knock off of the Hunter's DMR. And Cold and Acorn, they've got quite a few boxes. Good amount of space claim for their current position.
Look at the zone, though. Zone has once again been updated.
You think Miro really goes for the 3-time reboot?
I don't think he has a choice here. If you want to win, you definitely don't play it all solo.
Well, Kanata didn't really get much of a choice here for having to play as a solo, and hey, he's making it work. Blizzard thought he was going to get the one up on him, but even still, Kanata holding it down. Looking like him right now.
Way.
Another one onto Victor. And especially when you consider his situation leading into that elimination. What a massive flex from Kanata. He might be a solo.
He never went to pick up Cooper either. He's just riding this one out.
Shots like that, I mean, I think he's got this, man. I don't know. The confidence says a lot. I respect it.
Oh, Another team sliding on in. Same ideas in hand. I mean, the zone's still pushing, so they will have to go. Yeah, he wants to waste no time staying behind.
Aw. Just didn't have any shield refresh opportunities, but Source instantaneously punished, trying to go for Kanata's body loop, but instead he's gonna find himself getting eliminated in the process. Dash and Seek now. Max Mats. Pretty solid loadouts, realistically
Crazy
speaking.
amount of loot Source had, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like 6 med kits right there now. So much to work with. This is the refresher Dash and Seek need. And this is another team that has nothing to lose. They know for a fact they've made it to the next stage, regardless of how this game plays out. With that level of a refresh, with the zone bouncing back to them, as long as they do not, and I repeat, do not go for high ground too early, they might win this game, actually. Just literally based off of that small turn of events right there. Kanata falling, and all the Source's loot landing in that same spot.
Well, all these teams right now spotted out. Clicks and Veno in the background. Cold and Acorn too we're focused on currently though. Cold hit a little bit of shield damage from Cam, but gets the knock instead, and Cold trying to keep it going, needs to reload for a moment, but at the same time, he's got Acorn right beside him, so he can trust in his duo to hold it down. And now Flowberry Fizz gonna further ensure that both of them stay fully healthy here.
And think about how they're playing it too. They're playing it to stay at max material. Refresh after refresh, zone to zone. They want to go for high ground soon. They've probably learned their lesson from the last game, like regardless of how simple it looks, timing is everything. Vino and Clicks have to do the same right now. Otherwise, they'll be one of the few that won't really have the juice to play it out all the way through to the end, but we'll have to find out. Opportunity is available everywhere now. Just got to cut this lobby down. One tag is going to take down Velo there. Vino almost gets deleted out the lobby from a double DMR headshot. And this is going to cost whatever is really left of their heals right now.
Clicks at least had one more shield potion to spare, but after this, it's going to come down to just 2 shieldfish for Veno. So definitely a really tough position to try and work their way out of. They certainly need a refresh, and they have to hope that some medkits or bandages, floppers, anything comes with it. They need that white heal situation come into effect. Noxy, Crisp, catching wind of teams, crash padding, Flowberry fizzing right beside him. But again, you go for shots, you have to expect that there's going to be teams trying to take some on you in return. Is Noxy now going to be one of the players forced to try and pop Nuka-Cola for the heals, and crash pads up. Gets a good overview of where the lobby is currently setting up at, and is actually going to be able to maintain a position towards the front side of the zone.
Mpen and Pump, one of the first to fly way over, might be going for high ground right now. The win is all that matters right now if you want to go straight to the grand finals. Otherwise, you have to be inside that top 25 or forget about it. Cold and Acorn, the most consistent team here on the day. The Victory Royale has come close multiple times already, but Vino and Clicks are in a world of trouble right now. Vino's falling to the hands of Power, Alex, and Worthy. Alex and Worthy need this big game too. They absolutely were very far behind in points here, so eliminations for them critical.
Eliminations and some placement points definitely on the back of their minds right now. And the clock is ticking. Zones only continue to become more and more problematic as all of these players are now trying to converge more towards that front side. Clicks currently slightly elevated above the rest of the lobby, but he's caught the attention of the lobby as well. Now he'll be forced to drop to the low ground. His final Nitro Splash expended. It's really feeling just like a matter of time before somebody cleans him up. He does not have that much HP to work with. But Clicks still somehow, some way, clutching out just enough points. Olaf incredibly injured, and Clicks finds it. The med kit, the shield potions, that's everything that could have come at the perfect time for him.
That was actually insane to put him right back into the game and at least allow him to stretch this out a little bit longer. But every time you go to second height, you're going to become the target, the focus of high ground. And NPen and Pump have what it takes here to put that pressure down. SMG in hand, a little bit of math, but who's this, Noxy? Did he just go for high ground out of nowhere right now? Trying to take this game into his own hands here. This might be the difference that actually grieves NPen and Pump from their chances at winning right now. Look at how much material it cost them. That was a big, big moment there for Noxy. He went up solo, by the way. This is going to give him a chance. NPen has to save himself with the crash pad as well, just to stay in the game, and he's down to 6 mats. Who's got the material to come up to the top to play this game out?
It's not even about material at this point. It's who's got a crash pad and a dream, because that's what it's looked like for all of the teams playing from that secondary height position. But Cold, Acorn, 4 med kits currently for Cold. He might be looking to try and set up a play for the heal off to close this one out. It's all about now whether or not NPen and Pump can even sniff out this team playing from the mid-ground layers. But Worthy, Alex, they've certainly made up for a lot of missing points, but they've still got a little bit further to go, I believe, if they really want to make sure that they can solidify their position.
Yeah, they don't have material, so this is very important. They're going to find some refresh there, but he couldn't pick it up in time. And instead, Mixon comes around and plays spoilers for now. Alex has to play this one out by himself here. He did get a little bit of mats to stretch it, but Acorn and Cold is still in the middle of the layer right now. They're eyeing up the high ground here. They barely have anything to work with. High ground has to come down. This is NPen and Pump here, the most important 2v2 for all these duels here. But Cold is a little bit different, and Pump shows everyone what he is worth. Now on the low ground, down Acorn in the storm there, trying to heal this one out. Pump has no heals. Acorn will win the game by default if Pump can't start eating something now and here, and he won't. In the end, Acorn and Cold win the game.
I was wondering, because last we checked in, Cold had 4 separate med kits, so had to assume that he opted to drop all of those heals to his buddy Acorn, and sure enough, Acorn knew what had to be done. And again, it's just simple maths at this point, MDF. When you've accrued that many heals, and they knew with how chaotic that low ground was starting to unfold, starting to really look like, you just play the smart game. You play to ensure that you are going to secure that spot for grand finals.
It started making so much sense to me. Like I said, once I saw them rotate in zone number 8 to the front and the edge of the zone to try to find the elimination for the refresh when they had a lot to work with, I knew at that moment, oh yeah, they want to win this game, and they're going to do it differently. They're not just going to go for high ground. They're going to make sure they are ready for anything, and Acorn and Cold do it in game number 5. And we expected them to, by the way. Lower bracket dominated, figured out what needed to be done, come into this upper bracket here today, and they just pop off. They were literally the best team on the day, and then to close out with a win, you expect the best from a team like them, Taco.
Yeah, but it is funny that we finally found a lower bracket team, although Acorn and Cold are, I think, definitely above that caliber to finally lock in a win on the last match of the day. But that's going to do it from myself and Monster. We had an awesome time. I mean, 5 really captivating matches as far as the action is concerned, but we're going to give it over to Zeke, Vivid, and Kelly to close out the day.